Don't Get Hacked, Call Me for Help. The YouTube channel, Don't Get Hacked, Call Me for Help, where we answer your technology questions. So I'm still in Delaware, and you know what? I would love to take photos outside for you guys, but I've been in conferences Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I spoke this morning about being learning to get comfortable in the uncomfortableness of life, because I know a lot of people get I didn't even like really tie it into cybersecurity or IT. New group for me, and I don't want to be preaching about the normal IT stuff because it gets boring, and I've got so much life experiences of overcoming emergencies, and that's literally the first chapter of my book is brand sharks, is to protect your digital assets, but the underlying tone is always having a backup plan. Backup plan for your computer, backup plan for your life. It does not need to be written in stone. You just like, if I'm going to this location, I know. People are like, well, I keep mentioning that I'm in a foreign country, and Americans are like, what do you mean you're in a foreign country? I'm like, well, I'm Canadian, and I am technically in a foreign country. So I don't go anywhere. I always travel with my phone charger or juice pack. And I know a lot of people don't care, but I'm like, if I am stranded, if I have been, okay, I'm always looking for cool people to hang out with. So I'm always quiet and reserved. I know a lot of people don't know what to expect from, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just taking in the ambiance of everyone's personality, their kindness, their authenticity, because I want to know if you're into relationships, long-term friendly relationships, or if you're into transactional relationships, because I help people with technology. That is what and I've got the most patience in the world. This is why I thrive at helping people with their technology, designing their podcast content, setting up their podcast studio, coaching them on getting comfortable in front of the camera, right? So I put a lot of love, sweat, tears, and thoughtfulness into my relationships. I know not everybody out there is like that. I go to networking events, I travel the world. A lot of people are like, you can only talk to me. It's like the pay to play scenario. You can only talk to me if you're paying me. And I'm like, I'm gonna help, if you're broke, if you're poor, I'm still gonna answer your questions. I'm just not gonna give you as much detail because my time is valuable, and I have employees to train, I've got customers to respond to. I had somebody I met new people today, and I know when I always meet new people, they're like, hey, I know you're into tech, but I already have a tech person, or I have my own tech person. I'm like, I completely understand that you are comfortable enough, you're a business owner, you're taking care of your own tech, or you have one person you call, and that is great. I want to be the second. I want to be the backup plan, the second person you call, because I want you to bounce your ideas off me. And I'm going to tell you if your primary tech person is as good as they say they are, because I've got so much experience. And I'm not competing with anybody. I love learning from the competition because they might be doing something more efficient than me. And you know what? I'm one person, and without a team, I can't serve all the billions of people in the world. We'll get there one day with a huge team. But I tell people, I'm always available 24/7. You can have my cell phone number, my email, drop into my Facebook DMs. If you're coming in from a transaction, if you're coming in to DM me, pitch me, tell me my YouTube channel needs to be better, if you're doing that, I'm the wrong person to be pitching because I am slow and methodical. My bank code starts with K, so I need to understand the situation. I need all the knowledge of the situation before I take any action. So I am like the slow, long sell. Like, you gotta become friends with me. Tell me how you can help me. Like, this is how I deal with life because I don't want to be bitter towards a relationship. I don't want to be bitter towards a set. There's enough things in life, emergencies that pop up that make you bitter. Like my truck situation right now, because I was supposed to drive myself to Delaware. And I ended up breaking down east of Hammond, Indiana, and calling a tow truck and sitting on a tow truck for 14 hours. And my truck's currently at a GMC dealership, and I'm trying to get an actual. I've been waiting for this one part for my truck, 2022, so 2 years old. I've been waiting for a part since August, and the dealerships in Canada couldn't find it. And I'm done waiting. I want a solution. So I came to the U.S. because I'm like, hey, I've got all these people, all these relationships I've built over the last 3 years. I want to expedite those relationships, meeting people, having a coffee, having a beer, having a meal with them to see how we can, at Don't Get Hacked and Mupo Entertainment, our cybersecurity consulting business, our video content creation and distribution business, and our new business, which is YouTube coaching and monetization. I want to see how we can add value to you so that you get more stuff so you can get past the hurdles you have in your life, because everybody needs tech support, everybody needs video support, everybody wants to make money off their videos, and we can help you do that. I need to know where you are, what issues you have, and where you want to get to. So it's all about building relationship with you, learning what is triggering you and stressing you out with your technology, and building you out a plan. I'm not saying I'm going to solve everything overnight. Even if you pay me all the money in the world, your problems may not be solved overnight. It might be a 3, 6, 9, 12-month process to map it all out. But as I told the people today, the last 3 days, I'm here to meet you all and observe and learn. And when you're ready to hire us, I'll tell you when you're ready to hire us and when we'll move forward. But it's all complimentary content while I figure out if you're the ideal network relationships I want to be dealing with long term. Because tech support is one of those things where when we make your stuff, when we document your data, document your business processes, and get all your stuff running smoothly, you're not going to have any problems until the 3 a.m. Oh, Mike, I got hacked, or this happened, or this, and then we'll deal with that emergency when it happens, because you've got a 24/7 phone number to call. We'll make sure we help you out, and you get priority service. So, did I have it? I had one person I met, Jennifer from Texas, I believe. I was talking to her the last 3 days, so she's telling me about the issues she had with her WordPress website. And I'm like, that sounds like a DNS issue. Sounds like a DNS issue where your URL is being redirected. And I'm like, this is a challenge of dealing with a WordPress website, is that it's WordPress can be a lot of maintenance. So if you're a 6, 7, 8-figure business owner, I can completely understand you having a WordPress website. But you better make sure that thing is professionally, unless you're a computer nerd. But I still don't believe a computer nerd is going to have that website optimized and protected properly, because WordPress, there's always PHP updates, there's always theme updates, there's always plugin updates. I find rarely anybody actually has their WordPress backed up. And if it's backed up, it's not a recent backup. That thing should be backed up every time there is some type of content up. Anyway, she was explaining she had an issue with the website being redirected, and they just had to delete the website and change the URL. And I was like, I think that was a drastic move. I'm pretty sure it can be solved more efficiently, but that's what her professional WordPress person advised her to do, was just to delete everything and change the URL and and I was like, I think we could have just made a backup of your site, moved it over. I'm thinking it was your hosting provider. I really do think it was, it was likely DNS, but you're using Cloudflare, so it's like, should have just been backed up, moved to another WordPress hosting site, been easy thing to do in less than 24 hours is to back it up, move it, repoint it, and just see if it is. I just redesigned. They just ended up going with landing pages. So landing pages is an interesting example of some people thrive with landing pages or ClickFunnels or something like that, and others don't. And at the end of the day, I've had fancy websites. I've had WordPress websites. I've had all this fancy stuff. And at the end of the day, I've gone back to basics. I've got a .ca, a .com, .ae. Rather than having three different, we don't sell from our website because I don't want to be doing refunds if somebody buys and they don't jive with me. I just don't want to put up with clients that don't get along with our messaging and our sense. Not everybody gets along with my Alberta redneck sense of humor. Because I'll be blunt and say, I think this is unethical. I think this is sleazy, and I'm not going to support the situation. And that is likely going to rub some people the wrong way because I'm a knowledge-based personality first, rather than when. Anyway. So she said she went to all landing pages and she hasn't fired up. And I was like, okay. I'm like, all you really need to do is have a landing page with some basic information, your pitch deck, whatever. Grab names, addresses, or put a Calendly link there and then have them book you on their calendar. It's not rocket science. If you know you get a ton of traffic to your website or a ton of traffic, it depends, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-figure business owners. Obviously, if you're doing 7 or 8, you probably have multiple offers and they're all doing. I learned something today. This week, the most invaluable thing I learned this weekend. Sorry to go off on a tangent. I think I'm going to go do a Facebook Live on this. You should have one offer and stick with that one offer until you make $500,000. Then once you make $500,000, add the second offer. That is coaching and training I've not received before. And I've gone through a bunch of business coaches, a bunch of training, Grant Cardone, 10X, you name it. I've been through it. And I'm like, the first time I've ever heard one offer make $500,000 off of it was like, not that I'm focused on money, but I'm focused on making my businesses profitable. And I thought that was, blew me away. So thank you to the new friend I met this week who told me about that. Actually, I'll do a Facebook Live tomorrow morning about it because the lady was talking about her WordPress issues. She was asking me who I thought was whose presentation I liked the most, and I mentioned that lady, and I was like, I'm so tired, I can't even think of why. I mentioned 3 people who I liked their presentations, and I'm like, why did I like them? And I'm like, well, I resonated with their aura and their person. I'm energy, I'm love, and I know when people are being authentic, and then the ones who are only in it for transactional stuff, right? And nobody really sold anything. Like it was a no pitch Wednesday, Thursday. I guess you could have pitched, but it's like I'm not gonna make any friends if I come into this community and just pitch you on why you need to focus on your cybersecurity and not being hacked, right? Once I build up rapport with this community, I got a nickname, Duffy. I got that nickname tonight. I was like, perfect, I'll go with it. Because my last name is on a statue in the middle of Times Square in New York. Anyway, you asked me anything today was like, what should I have done in this situation with my WordPress site being redirected? And I'm like, I would have just backed up your web. Like, I think deleting the WordPress website was going too far. I'm sure it could have been solved a lot easier than that. Anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that ask me anything question I was asked today. Because I'm like, really, if your website's being redirected, it's either your DNS or something's going on with your hosting provider, because really the DNS could be pointing to your website, but if there's code at your hosting provider, which is then re-forwarding it, like, I don't think you needed to delete your website. I'm sorry. Anyway, this is True by Hilton in Georgetown, Delaware. I just love this. I don't watch TV. If you know me, I don't watch TV at all. I watch podcast. I don't watch entertainment, no, educational infotainment. Always exercising the brain and learning new stuff and working on osmosis and downloading all the cool stuff, so many cool people that I met this week. I'm like literally just now kind of digesting it because I'm super quiet until I know you, and then I don't shut up. But this is the knowledge. This is like I'm slow and methodical, right? Because I want to know how I can add value and help you in your business. And when you're at an event when there's like 20, 25 people, it's a lot of sensory overload because some people are just bubbly and loud and a lot of energy, and you're just like, I'm just absorbing this because I don't want to be awkward, because I might be awkward and I don't want to be inappropriate until I know everybody's boundaries. Because one lady was telling me, she's like, I got these boundaries. I'm like, I get you. I'm not, if you're not a hugger, I'm like, I only hug people if they hug me, right? Because again, boundaries, professional service provider, but if you love us, we love you back. And if you trust us, we trust you back, and we'll be besties. Doesn't mean we need to be besties. If that's too off-putting to you, I'm sorry. That's just my personality. I want to make sure you're getting the best service, the best answers when it comes to your technology. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, I can present to you on any of the subjects that I've been learning, but really, just ask me anything, and I'm going to give you my answer based on all my 20, 30 years of experience running a business, shutting down a business, restarting from scratch, traveling the world, interviewing people that are 7, 8, 9-figure business owners, and I'm like, oh my god, how have they learned so much stuff? Well, it's that 10,000 hours. In order to get good at anything in your life, you're gonna spend 10,000 hours sharpening that tool set, right? So if you want to, like anything, like my daughter right now is learning how to crochet, and I'm like, it's gonna be, 10,000, it may not take 10,000 hours, but to be good at crocheting, I'm assuming you need to do it every single day for a couple hours to get your projects completed. 10,000 hours is usually 3 to 4 years if you're doing it 7 days a week, and 5+ years if you're doing part-time. And that's to get good at the skill set. Running a business, you're gonna have invoicing and billing and customer service and product delivery or service delivery, administration, marketing, branding, the list goes on. 10,000 hours in each of those subjects, even if you outsource. Because you can't really outsource or delegate parts of your business until you got those processes down pat. And that's where I know I'm not perfect. And somebody this week was telling me, hey, you should be doing A, B, and C, and D, or you're going to kill yourself. And I was like, I need some guidance on that. If you think I should be doing something better or more, or have more time to do other things, then you're going to have to train me on what you've been doing, because that education doesn't come free. That comes from life experiences. Anyway, hello. I was going to go for 5 minutes, and we're like 19 minutes in. So thank you for watching today's session of Don't Get Hacked. Don't Get Hacked, ask me for help. I had a WordPress question today, and I responded saying, I don't think you should have deleted your site. I think you just had to back up your site and move it to a new hosting provider, and then start going through the code. Website redirection should be easy to solve. Should not have to do anything drastic. I deal with I don't build websites. We've got people who build websites for us. I have a lot of customers coming to me with WordPress issues, and they say, hey, I got this website guy and I can't figure it out. And then I go scan the WordPress, and I'm like, fuck, the plugins aren't up to date, or the PHP is not up to date, or the WordPress is using an old theme. Like, it's not it's literally not rocket science. And I think some service providers, some consulting companies don't really like, they know enough to get started and pitch you on websites or marketing or IT support or business coaching or whatever it is. They may know a good 40, 50, 60% of their processes and know how to do stuff. But if they run into a problem, they're going to drop you like a hot potato and not be able to finish. That's all the experience we had building our house in 2015, right? Master home builder, master carpenter, master plumber, all those master labels that they have just means they've spent X amount of hours doing that. Does not mean they're efficient, does not mean they are good, does not mean they provide quality service. That's what master means. They just got their 10,000 hours in and they got a certificate that they've done enough houses or jobs or whatever, framing, drywall, blah, 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 plumbing, electrical work. Just means they've got enough hours in to provide that service to the public. Does not mean they're expert, does not mean they're perfect, does not mean they're clean, they clean up after themselves. So you're gonna, when you're an adult, when you're a business owner, when you get responsibilities and you gotta hire professionals, it's nice to know, like somebody, it's nice to know, have some guidance in that, right? Because if not, you're gonna waste your time, money, get frustrated, get no satisfaction from those transactional relationships, or you're relying on an expert to help you. I know there's a guy over the last 3 days, and his name's Lee, and he was explain. He was on stage. He didn't even have a script, so bravo to Lee for not having a script. I shouldn't have used a script, but based on my conversation last night at supper, and people were like, "Oh, we think you should add this and this into your speech." I changed the structure of my speech, which I just need to perfect, right? And probably didn't go as smooth as I wanted to, but everybody enjoyed it because I got so much feedback on it, except for one person who's being a dick. Anyway, I was talking to a guy named Lee from Louisiana, and I said, I'm like, hey, if I'm in your area this winter, I've been to New Orleans once for Mardi Gras. I'm like, do you mind if I come hang out with you? Thanks for the beers the other night. And he's like, why? And I was like, because everywhere I go, I like to have a local tour guide. I like to meet the local businesses, see what their communities are like, see how we can possibly help them in the future. If he's got a podcast, I'm like, maybe MupoEntertainment.com's proper fit for him. Maybe I can help him optimize the YouTube platform, whatever the case may be. Maybe I can help him. Plus, I like meeting new people who we seem to get along and have the same values, because they're the best tour guides, because they're going to take you to all the cool local spots. This is what I like about traveling. Having friends who can take you to all the cool local spots, because as a tourist, you're not going to know what's a cool local spot. You're just going to look it up on Google for like 4 or 5 star reviews and go from there. But when you have locals take you out to cool restaurants, you get some of the best food in the city. That's what I'm looking forward to seeing my friend and co-author Jose Escobar in Baltimore Saturday night for Mastermind supper, because he's taking us to his favorite restaurant in Baltimore or Maryland. Yeah, Maryland. Baltimore's in Maryland. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm bringing my co-host of season 2, my podcast, season 2, Don't Get Hacked, Call Me for Help. Julio's coming down from New Jersey, picking me up in Delaware, and we're going to go to this mastermind. I'm going to go spend a couple days in New Jersey and shoot some season 2 for MupoEntertainment.com, and that will be rebroadcasted on the YouTube channel. Anyway, 24 minutes in. I look and sound exhausted because I am. I'll talk to you tomorrow.